The last model we will look at for connecting root position triads involves connecting chords whose roots are related by step. We've got a number of principles we want to keep in mind for this connection. The most important thing to keep in mind is you have to use contrary motion. If you remember nothing else about part writing from these past few days, what I do want you to remember is when your chords have roots that are related by step and they're in root position, you've got to use contrary motion between the outer voices. If you don't, you get parallel octaves and fifths, and we don't want those. Let's start with the easiest part of the connection, and that's going to be the bass line. You move the bass by step. In this case, it's going up, and so with the idea of using contrary motion, that means the other voices, the soprano, alto, and tenor, will have to go down because they need to go in contrary motion to whatever direction the bass goes. Unfortunately, when you're connecting chords whose roots are related by second, there are no common tones. Instead, you will have two voices which move by step. In the case of the model I'm showing you here, we've got the soprano moving down by step from A to G, and we have C moving to B in the tenor. What is interesting about this connection is that it requires one voice to not use same note or stepwise motion. In fact, you will have to have a voice that moves by a third in contrary motion with the bass. And in this case, it's going to be the F moving to D in the alto part. Listen to how smooth this connection sounds. I'd like for you to try some now. I've got 3 examples for you to write on staff paper in F minor, D major, and C sharp minor. Pause the video, and when you're ready to take a look at my solutions, resume playing. And here we are. Connecting the 4 to the 5 chord in F minor. After you've done the bass, which is based on the chord roots, we want to find 2 stepwise connections. Whatever part has F in it should be going to E natural, and whatever part has D flat in it should be going to C. You need to remember to use E natural. Why? Because we're in a minor key and it is the leading tone. It is what makes the 5 chord major. The remaining part, in this case B flat to G, moves in contrary motion by a third. This is what the resolution sounds like. The next problem in D major connects the 5 chord to the 6 chord. After we determine the bass line goes from A to B, we find 2 stepwise connections. Whatever part has C sharp for the 5 chord needs to step down to B, and whatever part you have that has E in it needs to step down to D. The part that needs to move by a third in contrary motion with the bass goes from A to F sharp. In this case, I've put it in the tenor. Let's listen to this connection. And looking at the final solution in C sharp minor, connecting the 4 to the 5 chord. The 2 parts that should be moving by step in contrary motion with the bass are the A to the G sharp and the C sharp to B sharp. Note we are using B sharp because it is the leading tone in the key of C sharp minor. It is what makes the 5 chord major in the key. The part that moves by leap goes from F sharp to D sharp, again in contrary motion with the bass. This is what it sounds like. So So we've seen now 3 different models for how to connect root position triads. Those whose roots are related by 4th or 5th, those whose roots are related by 3rd, and those whose roots are related by step. For the first category, you'll have 1 common tone and the other 2 upper voices move by step. For chords whose roots are related by 3rd, you will have 2 common tones, and then the remaining voice will move by step. And then lastly, for chords whose roots are related by step, you will have no common tones, unfortunately. But all you need to do is to remember to have the 3 upper voices go in contrary motion with the bass voice. Typically, that will involve 2 parts moving by step and 1 part moving by 3rd.